Bro, my parents just came back from America yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They just went on vacation.
Dude, my dad is doing some crazy things, man. He's recording a gospel album.
What?
Yeah, and it's actually he showed me some of the demos yesterday. It's sounding amazing.
Your dad is.
He's doing it, you know. And you know what I love? His perspective of it, because he's obviously an older guy who's out of the loop when it comes to social media and like hype and all that.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see him doing it not for any of that. He's literally doing it for himself and for his passion.
Yeah.
For what he has.
Right.
So he's full recording I guess it's like an EP. But he's not naming it an album because it's 5 tracks. It's gospel music, all recorded by professional gospel musicians and vocals. And he's written and arranged all the music and all the songs. And he's also working on a feature film in America. So he was just meeting with some producers, some editors. Hey, did you see the short film that he did last year?
No.
He did a short film as well, and it was really, really good. So he's working on a feature film. And the best thing about it is they went shopping for me over there.
Yo.
And they came back with some nice threads for me.
Yo.
New Ben Davy pants.
Yo.
I got the Carhartt t-shirt, brand new t-shirt.
Oh, bro, that reminds me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ruben Senior, man.
Big Reu. Big Reu.
Big Reu. Grand Reu.
Yeah.
Bro, what size are your feet?
13.
Let's see. I don't know if you want to try and test them now because of the space. But we were gutting out this garage.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will fit you, bro. I don't know if you would fuck with this vintage, bro.
That is very nice.
This is
What size is it?
I'm not sure because it's UK size.
It looks a bit small for me, to be honest.
Damn.
But if you're giving them away, I can definitely find someone that will rock these.
Yeah, bro.
Dope.
Well, maybe you can resell them. No,
You probably could resell it.
Like I'm seeing all of these Insta accounts pop up. There's a finally reselling like the way we should have been reselling since way back.
Yeah. I don't know if this is something that I should be mentioning on stream, but I'm just going to go out and say it.
Yeah.
But my wife and I, we just went to Korea this year.
Yep.
And I love fashion. I'm into fashion and I love, nice clothes, and I'm about, especially for me, it's actually quite difficult for me to shop in Australia.
Yeah.
It's like I could go to Kmart and buy, whatever, but it's not my steez. I like good quality clothes and, and when we were in Korea, I was going nuts shopping. They just had everything, man, in the vintage stores, and my wife got inspired through my love for fashion and shopping and all that she came up with an idea to start an online store. So she's working on an online store at the moment. It's called Big Reu, the brand.
Sick.
And it's a store for big boys.
You mentioned this last time. Yeah, brunch, bro.
Yeah, so it's all happening. We're very, very excited that we can announce that we've gotten Dickies as a distributor. So we've placed an order. It's arriving in October.
Nice, from Dickies Official.
From Dickies Official.
Nice.
All big size clothing, pants, jackets, t-shirts, everything.
Good.
For the big boys.
Good.
And going to be going again to Japan this year, and my plan is to do a lot of shopping there to bring back here so that we can resell it.
Right.
So Mandy's going to be working on she's starting her own little business.
Good on ya, man. Good on her, man.
It's all her too, man. I've got nothing, I'm a part of it, but it's all her. It was all her idea. She's the one that's made it all happen, and it's really cool to see, man.
Hey.
So who knows, something might come off of that.
Yeah, bro. Well, that's the millionaire mind, bro.
That's it.
It's crazy. Bro, it's really crazy because someone, I can't remember who right now, I think it was my boy in Adelaide, shout outs to Moon, Freak Elites, but he was talking about how, because his wife's Chinese, right? He's got Chinese heritage, but he's Vietnamese, yeah? Is back in the day in Korea, or was it China, it was in one direction, not both ways.
Yeah.
One of the country's people would go to the other country, right? So either China or Korea. And then there were dudes in Korea, I believe it was the Chinese, because they couldn't get they couldn't tap into the international market, but in Korea you could,
Yeah.
or vice versa, one of the two, right?
Mhm.
That dudes, you know how like in Korea, they're the ones who, I'm pretty sure they're the ones who invented like mukbang, where they just eat and people watch them eat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a trippy thought.
Bro,
yeah.
I like watching that. I do, bro. Man, there's some chicks that can just eat like 12 bowls of like massive soup. I
yeah.
respect those people. They can eat more than me.
And they're lean as,
Yeah.
yeah. It's so weird. But, you know, shout outs to them.
Mm.
But so you can imagine there's all this kind of content like that coming out of Korea.
Yeah.
That's where e-gaming, e-sports really blew up, you know, for the Koreans, yeah. But, and even breaking,
Yeah.
they used breaking for the tourism. So one of the things that used to happen there was dudes used to have their accounts.
Yeah.
I don't know what the platform was, but they would be talking, I think it was WeChat, which is from China.
Yeah.
And they would be walking into a store live,
Yeah.
just holding the phone. And then dudes who were chatting there, they're like, I want that. So it's like online shopping
Dope.
through a person.
Yeah.
Bruh,
Yeah.
that's next level, man. You know, like that'll happen here.
Yeah.
Like I was walking through Caroline Springs shopping center last night.
Yeah.
After hours, only Woolworths and maybe Coles are open. So the middle bit's closed. So we had to walk around.
Yeah.
Then you notice how there's a lot of apartments
Yeah.
in Caroline Springs center, yeah? It's like the city now.
Yeah.
When I saw that and saw these little businesses opening up underneath or around the apartments,
Yeah.
I'm like, give it that time where there's like much more people in our streets. And Australia will be that place
Yeah. For sure.
where all these businesses just have to happen. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So you guys are onto it. Man.
Yeah. Well, shout out to
It's all going down today, man.
shout out to the wife.
Yeah, what up, man? So I don't have a name for my show, bro, but welcome.
Thank you very much.
This is
Thank you for having me.
guys. This is Ruben.
It's me.
Be sure, bro. Shut yourself out, man. What are your handles, man? How can people find out about you?
What, like my Instagram handles, huh?
Whatever you want. Yeah, you
Ruben
can even.
Jr. You can suss it out. Suss out Montanasa Studios.
You,
Flour Mill.
yeah,
And now Big Reu.
and Big Reu.
Yeah.
Yes, sick.
So, yeah, doing it's funny because it doesn't feel like I'm doing a lot. I think because I have a lot of time.
Yeah, right.
But in terms of what I've been doing, I think there's been a longevity of it. Been running the space out in Albion for 6 years now. 6 years in November.
Damn.
Yes, it's been a while. We started as a music and dance studio, lessons, classes, events. Then the space turned into a full functioning event space, function center for birthdays, engagement parties, weddings, which is now pretty much taken over the whole space. So we do events there pretty much every week.
Yeah, sick. That's good biz.
Yeah, it's been running itself now. And yeah, so a lot of people do get confused with the word Montanasa because it can mean so many different things.
Yeah.
It started off just with music and dance, but now it's functions. So what we've done to separate it all and so that people aren't confused is the space now is called the Flour Mill. So Albion is the Flour Mill now.
Yep.
And Montanasa is now a brand. So
Yeah,
it's not a place, it's not the space, but it's a brand that does things anywhere. So we do events in the city or wherever. Sometimes we even do stuff out of the space, but Montanasa now is not a space. The Flour Mill is the space, and it's a completely different business. And Montanasa is events and creative things.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so those are the different things that I'm doing and have been doing over the years. And things are good. Life is good.
Dope, bro. Dope. That's crazy, man. It's really interesting that I'm pretty sure, bro, like you did know about branding, right? And brands, but how things have to be like compartmentalized these days, you know, especially how we interact through social media and that. That you people get confused. It's like, what's this thing trying to tell me, you know? That, you got to have these separate brands and separate accounts for things.
Well, it's funny because we've only just made this transition into the new brand, the Flour Mill, for a year now, or maybe a bit more than a year, since my wedding last year in November. But it's funny because I like to say that this space is very low key.
Yeah.
In terms, we don't market, we don't do a lot of advertising. It's all word of mouth,
Mm.
and it's all community based. So what
Good,
I love
old school,
seeing,
man.
yeah, we definitely run it old school.
Yeah.
That's how I was taught by my father.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's funny because people still call it Montanasa. Like
Yeah.
we especially we get a lot of the Polynesian community coming in.
Word.
A lot of the Filipino community coming in.
Word.
Lots of different nationalities. We get a lot of African people coming in and doing events at the space.
Yeah.
And a lot of them that have known about the space for a long time still refer to it as Montanasa.
Yeah.
So there's still that transition.
Yeah.
And eventually, you know, as we keep going over, it's funny because when I answer the phone to a client that wants to hire the space,
Yeah.
I actually say, "Hello, it's Ruben speaking," and then they'll say, "Hi, is this Montanasa Hall?" And I'll be like, "Yep, that's it."
Yeah.
Even though it's Flour Mill,
Flour Mill.
but people still, you know, they resonate with the word Montanasa as the space.
As a space.
But I guess online and branding, Montanasa has always been creativity. It's always been the music and the dance and the art form of hip hop.
Yeah.
But now it's about separating that and really branding and capturing Montanasa as the creative space the creative elements of what we do.
Yes.
And the Flour Mill is the space for functions.
Bro, that is sick, man. You know, it's really interesting because, like, I still have the tendency to call Rec West.
Yeah.
We used to call Rec West YCW.
Okay.
I don't know what that stood for, but it was like YCW or YC.
Yeah.
And then that became Rec West,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's YMCA
All right.
in Braybrook.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
didn't even know that. I call it Request.
There you go, right? Yeah, it's actually YMCA.
Yeah,
Now.
okay.
It's operated by YMCA,
Yeah.
the YMCA organization.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like how our language works. It's like, well, it was in my day, or I'm not sure if it was in yours, but it's like, can you Xerox this for me?
Yeah.
As in, instead of photocopy.
Yeah.
You know, you would use the word Xerox, which is a brand,
now.
for photocopying.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like in Filipino language, it's like use a pentel pen.
Yeah.
Which is a brand.
Okay.
You know, Pentel
Yeah.
is a brand
Yeah.
of marker.
Yeah.
But you know, or we'd say texter.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think these things are called texters. It's just a
That's what we call it.
yeah, you know what I mean? And I think what's good about that, I think the word is lexicon, bro.
Okay.
That's the lexicon.
Yeah.
You know, like the lexicon is Montanasa. Montanasa is known as that spot.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and you know
Yeah.
you're really fucking with people, you know, and people are fucking with you
Yeah.
when that just becomes the word.
Yeah.
It's bro, you know, there's this dope hall,
Yeah.
you know, out in Albion.
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
Albion?
yeah,
Bullshit. Where?
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Are you talking about, you know, what's the Cyprian Hall?
Yeah. Yeah. Tamaja Street Hall.
Yeah, there's so many,
Yeah.
like, and that's old school, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So, bro, you know, like, it's in the culture for the West.
Well, to be honest, only over the last, I guess, year of reflection towards the space, I feel really proud, to be honest, of
Yeah, you should be.
what's come out of that space. Like low key, I'm not trying to say that the whole West Side knows about the place, but low key amongst cultures and communities, people know about the spot and can relate to that spot as a community place. We're actually the only space in Melbourne that has this big of a space that we have that allows multicultural people to bring their own food.
Yo, what's up with that, bro? That's sick. But
Yeah,
you know,
so
shout outs to you guys for that.
I mean, we definitely had the opportunity at one point to capitalize on selling our own food, and my mum was holding down the catering for quite a while there, and we were doing our own food. But what we lost was the essence of people within the community being able to bring their community feel towards their own events. And
which is important, right?
it's very important. And to be honest, it puts a smile on my face every week when I can walk into the space and see that, there's Ethiopian people there having a massive wedding for 300 people, and they've got their raw meats and they've got their food and their own alcohol that they've made in their garage.
Yo, moonshine?
Yeah, bro.
No way.
I don't know exactly what they call it, but
Yeah.
they're able to bring their culture and their community into our space. And I'm happy and proud that we can allow people to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's almost no spaces in Melbourne that allow you to do that, and that's got to do with money, bro. Like, people want to capitalize as much money as possible. So if you've got a space that, you know, does the food, does the drinks, and does everything, you're obviously going to capitalize on that monetary wise.
Yeah.
But we made a decision that we didn't want to do that, and we want to be able to provide a space for the community. If you're an ethnic culture that has your own food, has your own way of doing things, you're allowed to bring that into the space and do it your way.
Yeah.
And so I feel very proud to have a space that allows people from different cultures and communities to be able to do their thing. And it's actually beautiful to see, and it's also a plus for me because I'm eating food from all over the world every week.
That's the real reason why you run this business.
That's the real reason.
Perfect, Siggy.
Thank you, man.
No worries, man.
Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely a bit of. I'm proud to be able to say that we've got a space that people within the West know about. And again, we're low key, bro. Like, if you to get in contact with us as a space to book it out, you have to have my number.
Yeah.
And I don't give out my number. People pass on the number, and people just know that this is the number to call if you want the spot. And that's how it is. It's how we run. And it's worked for us, and we'll probably keep running like that for a while.
Yeah, good, man. You know, like, that's sick. Yeah, no, there's something nice about hearing, like, the humility in that, you know, and the how humble it comes across, you know. It's nice because, it's usually the opposite, isn't it?
You're right.
You know? And then it's weird. There's also that kind of, like, vibe where you have to be like that to get the clientele or to get the whatever, you know, likes, follows, attention.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man. Like,
I don't like that, bro.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's too much.
There's a lot of front in there, you know. Like, fair enough if the dude's actually like that or the people are actually like that.
Yeah.
But it brings about a whole kind of vibe with it, doesn't it? You know, like, I did this wedding. Yeah. And shout outs to the celebrants for, you know, like, hiring me for the gig, right?
Yeah.
But the original plan, because of it was in a winery.
Okay.
I can't remember in the Yarra Valley. Yeah. So it was like full winery country.
Nice.
And the venue was a winery, like, function space, like a cafe restaurant.
Yeah.
The bar was in the middle of the building.
Cool.
But then the dance floor was next to me.
Yeah.
And I was by the side, and then all the celebrants were where the dining part is.
Yeah.
So it was a weird space to set up in.
Yeah.
So I had to get extra long cables to set up on the other side.
Yeah.
Right? But I couldn't do that because the manager came in. It's like, yeah, are you going to tape this down? Because it's work health issue. Yeah?
OH&S.
Right? Yeah. OH&S. I said, yeah, of course I am. He goes, you know, if this tape damages the floor, you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Gaffer is the only thing you can tape things down with. Yeah.
And it's going to do some damage.
And it'll probably do some damage to the floor.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Shout out Gaffer.
yeah, shout outs to Gaffer. You should make that stuff, like, you know, a lot less, you know, harmful. Not as sticky, you know, like, can you find a way?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, but the dude came in so rude.
Yeah.
Like, we're all there trying to set up for a wedding and he's being a cunt.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, and then in the end, like, one of the celebrants, the bride, she came up to me and she's like, hey, did management say this to you? Did management say to that? You know, and apparently she's a bit of a bridezilla. You know, whatever. Yeah, they have to be. It's their special day. You know, so no hate on that. But it's like a lot of her vendors, or, you know, people doing services for her on that day, couldn't set up what they were supposed to set up because of this one floor manager. And why are these floor managers always such cunts?
Yeah.
They get good money.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, power trip dudes. You know, I have these scenarios in my head sometimes, bro. It's a bit too neck level, but
Dexter.
Yeah, it's a bit too Dexter. Hey, that's sick. I've never heard that one before, but it was so Dexter. Like, I was thinking, what if I, like, just uppercutted this dude, right, for being rude, and then dragged him to the kitchen. It's like, does anyone else here have a problem with this cunt? You know? It's like, all right, guys, you guys are my witnesses. Bang, 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 bang. Anyone else want to chuck in a punch? You know? It's just like,
did anyone see anything?
Nope. Good. Well, and then I just take the cleaver from the chef's head. It's like, no one saw anything, right?
Nice.
You know? But I'm not that dude. That's why I break. You know what I mean? Anyway, I went on a tangent there, but yeah, it's not good when a venue's whack like that, you know?
Yeah.
But bro, think of it like this, yeah? Think, like, with what you're doing, okay, in terms of the art side, when these, because generally it's younger people, yeah, the art stuff, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if they could bring this sort of like lifestyle
Yeah.
of like going to a cool event. You know, let's say let's let you know, shout out to the 3K boys.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Kilo Downs represent. You know, like
yeah.
BRIMBANK actually, BRIMBANK, like how they get up on the mic, like they're doing this thing at parties,
Yeah,
man, you know,
yeah.
and then that's associated with the kind of food that they eat, you know, and the kind of culture
Yeah.
and tradition
Yeah.
that it becomes like a communal thing. Like dudes are now hiring flour mill,
Yeah.
you know, and they're part of the 3K legacy,
Yeah.
you know, like a relative or
Yeah.
a friend
Yeah.
or maybe one of their own kids in the future. And then it's like, oh yeah, we got 3K is gonna do the opening,
Yeah.
you know, like your opening performance,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like really thinking about, I guess, hip hop culture in a sense as like their own traditional culture.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, like the Polynesians do, like the Africans do, whatever culture that comes through.
Yeah.
Right, imagine.
Mm.
You know,
That'd be
that's the kind of space you're setting.
Yeah.
You're setting up that kind of potential.
It's definitely a blank canvas. That's what it is. And I say to all my clients when they come in, when I meet up with them, I was like, this is how you need to see it. You see it as a blank space, as a blank canvas. You can do whatever you want. Like there are no rules, there are no boundaries. As long as it looks the way how it is now at the end of the night,
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. I really don't.
No, that's exactly
And
it.
to be able to give people that flexibility, I think it makes people comfortable.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I think we've got a reputation amongst the community and the different cultures, and we've got so many people coming through because we have that relaxed environment. I guess especially with the Polynesian community, like they're chill. You know, they're not. No one's the bridezilla. No one's going hectic. Like, oh, this, that. Like, they're just chill. They want to be able to come into an environment and feel relaxed, and not feel like that they're going to do something wrong, or they're on their tippy toes. Like, no, it's like you're chill here. You can do what you got to do here. You know, there might be some complications, or there might be a fight, or there might be someone that breaks a beer bottle. So what? It's a part of it. You know, it's a part of it all. Just manage it yourself. So when no one gets killed, it's all good.
That's sick, man. Bro, tell me, how long have you actually been running the space as a function hall for those things?
Well, how it started. So, it started as a music and dance studio.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were replicating what my parents did back in the old days, MMA in the city on Victoria Street.
Yes, Melbourne Music Academy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the whole goal when we reopened. We wanted to re-bring that alive, and redo that, and have a space for the community. And so it started as a music and dance studio. We obviously had a massive warehouse space, and we never even had the intention of hiring it out for functions.
Right.
Never even came across our minds. It was purely music and dance. And just over the time, we'd have a parent of their kid saying, oh, hey, I've got my other daughter, she's turning 21, can we hire out this space for 21st birthday?
Yeah.
We didn't have any tables and chairs back then, we didn't have anything.
Right.
And we were like, why not? Yeah, let's do it. And then it just got to the point where that business overtook the music and dance studio. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't out of money or greed or whatever. It just, the music and dance studio at the time, for what it wasn't what it turned into, wasn't what we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
It was doing really well. We got to a point we had 100 students doing music for like kids, music and dance, and we had a few programs and all these things, for that style, like music and dance. But what came from it, and the vibe that we had with the 100 students just wasn't what we were trying to do.
True.
Although it was good. It wasn't what it was, you know. And I guess in a way we were chasing that feeling of what we had, and we were trying to replicate it, but it wasn't it, you know. And I think what that's got to do is, obviously, we took a 5-6 year hiatus from MMA to MONTANASA. And during that time, kids changed, bro. The kids now are different to what they were back then.
Yes.
You know? So the attention span of the kids was, you know, they couldn't last an hour in a class. As a 15, 16-year-old, they were on their phones half the time. They were more coming for the sense of community with their friends, rather than for the love of the art, the music, the dance, the pursuing of the passion of what they wanted.
Yes, right.
Which is cool, because we created a space for these kids where they can come and hang out with their friends and whatnot. But they, out of the 100 students, honestly, there was probably maybe 1 or 2 kids out of the 100 that were actually serious about music or were serious about dance. And for me, as cool as it was, because it was big and we had all the kids from Braybrook College and Maribyrnong and all these kids coming through, but the passion for whatever it is that they were doing wasn't there. So at the time, when we were getting functions and everything and people were hiring out the space, it just eventually took it over completely, which we were very okay with. We were okay to let go of the school and the lessons to allow MONTANASA as a brand with music and dance to go a different way. And then the functions side of things just took over. So I think we've been doing functions there now for about 4 years. And out of the 2 of those 4 years, we were running the music and dance studio during the week, and then the functions were on the weekend.
Right.
So the thing is, that was happening, like, it just didn't work, the 2 businesses together. So I would get a client coming in wanting to do their wedding, whilst the music is absolutely blaring, you know, there's kids running around everywhere, and I'm trying to show a client the space for a wedding that's going to be happening. And they still booked it regardless, because they liked the space and they understood it, but just the 2 worlds didn't really combine. So we had to kick one, we had to stop one. And then it's probably been about 2 years now, maybe even 3, where it's been just functions out of the space.
Right.
But that being said, we still utilize the space for creativity. So we had still our office setups, we had rooms, and rather than it being lessons and classes and where you come to pay for a class or a lesson, it turned into more of that community element where people would come in and use the space for whatever they wanted to do. For example, like the first crew that came through was Billy Davis.
Shout out to Billy Davis.
Shout out to Billy Davis. So they came in. Will was actually working on the music program and trying to build the students up, but then it got to a point where he was so focused on Billy Davis project that's what he was running. That's what he was doing. So he was using the space for rehearsals. He recorded his first EP out of there. What? He was bringing in artists. Yeah, man. He was bringing in artists to come through, and it was a community space. With functions on the weekend. And so that worked really, really well, and we really enjoyed that element of being able to have the essence of why we were doing what we were doing. Yes, we didn't have 100 students, but what we had is those, you know, let's say we had 10, 15 people coming in for the creative side that were passionate, and that was what they loved, and they utilized the space to the full potential for them to be able to pursue their dreams.
Man.
So we had Billy Davis come through, and then the likes of 3K. They recorded their first EP, a couple of singles in there. Agung Mango was in there for a little bit.
That's right. I remember that time.
So, you know, we just, and lots, those are just, you know, the names that you would know, or people would know. But we had a lot of other people coming through as well, and just using the space for music and whatever it is that they wanted to do.
Might as well shout her out too, because her journey's been pretty incredible. But was her name Gina, the dancer?
Yeah, Gina Michael.
Yeah, she held that event.
Yeah, she did an event there. We did a collaborative event there a couple of years ago. What was it called again? The Get Down.
The Get Down?
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, that's crazy. That is sick, man. And, thanks for sharing for that. Because the actual question was, so in the 3 years that it's maybe been more of a full-time functions space. With Polynesians coming through. So the questions about the Polynesians, particularly maybe the Samoans. Did you ever, at any of those events, catch any of these new drill cats coming up, man? Was there ever a drill, drill wasn't really a big 3 years ago. Here, it's massive now.
Yeah.
Big shout outs to 1-4 and
Yeah, yeah.
HP boys and
Yeah.
30 Kqingz, is it?
The Hampton Park boys, is that what you're talking about?
And then but there's a St Albans one now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
with
saw that the other day.
with Saint Side. Yeah, shout
yeah.
out to Saint Side.
Um,
Because bro, like they've come out of nowhere.
yeah, they have. To be honest, they might have been there.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, I'm very close. I've got some of my closest friends, Samoan and Tongans, and
Yeah.
you know, they're cousins. They with the Rock, and
Yeah. We're all cousins, man, you know.
And you know, one of my good friends, Lungy, shout out Lungy. He's knows some of the boys in Sydney from 1-4 and the cousins, and when he goes up to Sydney for family events, he knows them. But in terms of
hang on a second, I need to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Lungy.
Yeah.
Was he a b-boy?
No.
Okay, because I had a student whose name was Lungy.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, Feist, it's the
No,
same
no,
Lungy. I have
yeah.
not heard this name Lungy
Yeah.
for like 10,
No,
for a
he's
decade or
not
so.
a big boy. He's a tradie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
but I mean, we might have. I mean, we've had thousands and thousands of Polynesian people come through the space. I mean, I don't know everybody that's come through, so they could have been there for their cousin's wedding or 21st or whatever it is. They could have, but
Yeah.
I never really witnessed it firsthand. Especially the music that they were playing with the especially the Islander community when it comes to music for their events. They love live bands, live bands, and they're incredible as well. Like you know, the singers and the musicians, they're all really good. But in terms of music wise, no, I haven't really seen that sort of come up.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very underground sort of thing.
Yeah.
And especially at the family events, just because I know a little bit about the culture and how it works with the elders.
Yes.
I don't think that that's something that the elders would approve of
True.
at a traditional wedding or 21st. And
True.
yeah, they have a very traditional way of running their events.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
see something like a 1-4 or what's happening in St Albans fitting in
into
that. I mean, who knows what the future generation might look like once all these young dudes become the older generation.
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows what sort of music that they'll be playing at their events. But
Well, yeah.
yeah, they're very good at keeping it traditional, the Islander community.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot because we need to keep that.
I believe
You know,
so.
cultures are very important to sustain the things and the rituals that they've been doing for many, many years. So, especially the Islander community, they're very, very strong in their ways.
Yes.
And I don't see that changing for quite a while. I don't
Yeah,
think.
right.
Yeah. But we'll see what the young cats do, man.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because you got me to remember Rose. And
the event that you did.
Yeah, and Rose's. I forgot Rose's daughter's name. It was her 18th.
Yep.
I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Shout outs to them. But yeah, that's when I first witnessed. That's the first Samoan party I've actually been to. Yeah.
They loved you too.
Oh man,
you did
yo,
a great job.
I love them. You know, that was great because like what was crazy about it was, well, the first thing was we had takeaway, man. They gave us like,
Yeah, you've got enough food for a week.
yeah, man. You know, like
Sorry to cut you off.
That's
but
all right.
What I love is the Islander community when it comes to food.
yeah,
So this is what I've learned. Their goal, right, because they always do a buffet style.
Yes.
Big spread.
Their
Goal is by the time everybody has eaten, I mean eaten, like, you know, some big dude, you know, eaten.
Yeah.
They want the table to look like nobody's even touched the food.
yo,
That's their goal.
Really?
They want to have so much food that once everybody's eaten and is full, that by the end of the night, they can go to the table and it looks like nobody's even eaten.
True.
And they can just take it all home and have food for the week.
Yo.
You know? And another thing as well with them, which is really cool, is when it comes, for example, a wedding or a 21st. So yes, they'll have an invitation list and they'll have a guest list, but there's no such thing as they're not invited or they're not allowed to come.
Yeah,
No
right.
such
It's
thing,
kind of like open.
It is. So if you've got family over from New Zealand and there's 10 people in a house, they're all coming to this wedding, bro. Even if the bride and groom don't know them,
Yeah.
if they're a part of the family, they're coming and they're going to be there. So that's what I really like about that too.
Yeah, that's
yes,
dope.
they will cater, you know, they got 150 people that they think are coming, that's on the guest list.
Yeah.
But by the time that everybody's there's probably 250 people there.
Right.
Because there's an extra 100 people that have just come along. Oh yeah, it's my cousin's wedding, come, or, you know, know,
yeah.
whatever. And it's an open, inclusive invite.
Wow.
So that's why when they cater for food, they're not only catering for the people that they know is going to be there, they're catering for the people that could be there.
Right. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's parallels between Filipinos and Samoans, you know. In fact, some of us look very similar, you know. Even size, you know. Like, most Philippine, when you think Filipino, you think maybe shorter, more Asian, But there are a lot of chinky-eyed, you know, Chinese heritage Samoans, you know.
Yep.
And to hear that makes me realize, because as we were talking about earlier, we had the whole
Your dad's barbecue.
like the spread there, you know, everyone eats with their hands on the banana leaf, kamayan, boodle fight. And bro, we could have had 120 people there, but it's like at the end of it, you know, because of like how we think now, it's such a waste of food, you know, like, and had it not been spread out like that, they could have taken it away, but it's not really what you want to take away after everyone's been picking at it, you know what I mean? But it also made me think too, like I went to a wedding, just a civil wedding. It wasn't a Catholic wedding, but a civil wedding in the sort of farmland region of the Philippines. And bro, the celebration was 3 days.
Wow.
These dudes were just imagine,
cool,
bro. Like imagine like where you live, like you've got the view of the hills and rivers. It's really nice, That was their backyard,
Nice.
and, you know, and you could see further out where the volcano was from that
cool.
region. It's crazy. But dude, these dudes were cooking. The first thing they cooked, right, and we just missed out the whole like gruesome part of them actually butchering the pigs. But to make the oil, the fat, the lard for cooking the rest of the food, they had a whole wok that was this big, bro, just full of pig fat and skin, just on flames.
Wow.
And bro, that thing filled right up. Then they had these big like metal spoons that you cook with, long handles, that they were then just like picking up the lard and putting it into other woks and then putting that on other flames. And bro, 3 days, there was food for 3 days.
I want to go to a party that goes for 3 days, man.
Bro,
I didn't see that. I want to go to that.
That's the traditional man stuff. I'm pretty sure out in Chile they probably do something like that too.
Man,
you know,
sure,
like
for sure, completos for days,
bro. When you mentioned your mum was doing the catering, I was just thinking completos, man. Like, yo, where do you go to eat completos if you don't if you don't make it at home, or mum doesn't make it or whatever?
Well, here's the thing, because I mean, my mum makes the best completos.
Yeah, of course she does.
So
of course she does.
It's like, sorry, but no one can beat the way that she makes it.
Nah.
So to be honest, it's actually quite difficult to go to places and eat them because I know it's not going to taste like my mum's.
Yeah, true.
But there are a few spots. There's actually a new food truck that's just opened up.
Yeah.
Don Marco food truck. I don't even know who they are. I've just been seeing it on social media. It's like a full Chilean food truck that they've opened. It's got a Chilean flag on the front. They're selling completos, churrascos, you know, lots and lots of different Chilean food, empanadas, like all that. And they open up, I think, 1 day a week on Saturdays. They set up in Duke Street in Braybrook.
Yep.
It's
bro.
low key, bro. It's low key, and just people go through. There's also a spot in on Ballarat Road in Deer Park. I think it's called Las Peñas or Los Latinos or something like that.
Oh wait, the one on
the one that we
went to. Yeah. Latin Food and Wines.
That's the one.
Yeah.
They do completos, and there's a few spots, you know, every you know, a few different places that you can go, but there's not a lot. I think with Chilean cooking as well, it's not the type of food that for a genuine tasting really good one that you would like to go to a restaurant for the masses. It doesn't taste as good when you're making it for a lot of people. You know? It tastes
enough.
much better when there's, you know, 10, 15 people at home and, you know, you make the avocado the perfect way and homemade mayonnaise, and it's just something about it, eating it at home.
Yeah.
So if normally for us Chileans, I feel like if you want a good Chilean food, you can only really find it at home.
Yeah,
and obviously every family has their own way of making it.
Yes.
And they're all most of the time very biased with the way that they do it. Which is fair, you know. But in terms of like a good quality Chilean feed, it's definitely at home. But if you don't have it at home, then it's probably the few places that I mentioned to you.
Yeah, word up. Yeah, be sure to check those places out,
definitely.
man. Bro, tell us about these events you've got coming up.
So we got Run the World happening this Saturday.
Yes.
That's going to be really nice. We did a Run the World last year, which was really cool. It's pretty much the whole event is. I mean, I hate to really. I mean, I don't feel like there's a need anymore to really say that it's an all-female lineup, but it's for the girls, and it's because they're embracing themselves and they're doing their own thing and they're really coming out. And
yeah, they're taking ownership.
exactly, you know. So there's no real need anymore to state that's what it is, but that's what it is. It's an event that's for the ladies that are doing dope things in the Melbourne community, up and coming artists. And it's really just about a night for the ladies, really, for them to shine. Yeah, because there's so many, you know, girls doing crazy good things these days, and it's really cool to see. And this night is really about the ladies that are doing dope things at the moment in terms of musically, like artist-wise. So we've got Pania, we've got Shelly, DJ Shelly. Shout out to DJ Shelly.
Shout out.
Bell Sounds. We've got. It's a big list.
It's a big list. Yeah, that's fair enough.
And then we got dance battles happening as well.
Sick.
This time we wanted to do something a little different. It's a 2v2 battle, and it's the ladies' choice.
Yes.
Who they want to invite.
Word.
So that's open to anyone. It can be a guy, it can be a girl, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But it's about the girl saying, you know what, I want to enter. And I want to ask you to come and enter with me.
That's good, man.
That's what that's about.
That's really nice.
And we've got Carla, Ariadne, and Mad Fox judging.
Nice.
So yeah, that would be good, man. It's it's an early event starting at 5, finishing at 11.
Nice.
There's also a few things happening on that night. There's House of Feels happening on Saturday, which
House
you're DJing at too, yeah?
House of Feels this Saturday.
Yeah, it's a shout out to Miyaka.
Yeah, shout out to Miyaka.
We didn't realise that we were, you know, events happening on the same date. Yeah. But it happens, man. We're in Melbourne, you know. People are there's always going to things that are clash, but we've spoken and we figured out a way to make both of them work.
Word.
And yeah, so afterwards, probably everybody's going to head there. Although what we've done is we've made the dance element finish at 8 o'clock.
Word. So
that people can go to House of Feels to support Miyaka and what they're doing.
Dope.
Yeah, because, you know, we're not about trying to steal everybody or keep everybody. We want everybody to go everywhere, and it just so happens that the events are clashing, but we've made a way to make it work.
Yeah,
you know?
word,
So, yeah, that's happening this Saturday, Run the World Volume 2, so that'll be good. We've got Neighbourhood Funk and Space Jam happening on the same day, November 2nd.
November 2nd,
in North Melbourne, the venue called The Third Day. It's a beautiful, massive, open warehouse space, indoor, outdoor.
Is that the place that you've done an event at before?
Yes, we did Neighbourhood Funk there last year.
Yes.
It was probably one of the biggest events that we've done, actually. We had about 500 people come through. We had 75 people enter the 1v1 freestyle battle there last year. 75 people, bro. We had a $1,000 cash prize.
What?
So it was a big incentive last year. This year it's not going to be as big because... in terms of cash prize, it's because we've got a lot more music stuff happening.
Good.
So as much as we're doing the freestyle battle, we're doing a b-boy battle, which is Space Jam, this is our 6th volume. We've been running that for 6 years now.
Nice.
And we've got some crazy acts on the lineup.
Word.
We've got Swell. We've got one band that I'm really excited about. It's this lady by the name of Emma Vollard. A couple of weeks ago, we went to Raf Boogie's event, Beatbox Kitchen. He was doing a fundraiser with some of the homies, Noosh, Josh Korn, and Aki and Honna, and we went, had burgers, and then we just wanted to see what else was going on in Fitzroy, so we went for a walk, and as we were walking, we heard live music coming out of this little venue. I think it's called something Mr. Moses or something like that.
Oh, yep, I think so. I know that place.
We were all just drawn to the music. So we went inside and there's this chick singing and this crazy funk band playing. And there was no one in there, bro.
No way!
And we rocked up and we were like, yo, these guys are crazy. We ended up staying there for like a couple of hours, just having a few drinks there. And we were getting down and the band was just incredible. Like, I was like, how is nobody here for this, you know? So I hit her up that day. I said, yo, like, who are you? Like, I want to know who you guys are, what you guys do. I'd love to have you, you know, come and perform. So they're going to be doing a performance at Neighborhood Funk with their funk band. So my idea is to have them in between the B-boy battle and the funk battle. Sorry, B-boy battle and the freestyle battle.
Yeah.
And they're going to play live so that the B-boys, hopefully after the battle, they can get down to them. With crazy beats and break beats, and the freestyle will get down to it as well.
Yeah, dope.
But yeah, there's a few different artists that we're going to have, like just YKM. They're doing some really cool things, man. Like I first heard them at a house party a couple of years ago. 3K was also performing at the house party.
Bro, that's crazy. At a house party?
Yeah, man. They threw a house party in Yarraville, and when I walked in there, I was just like, there's something about these guys, man. There's something here. The party was dope. The people there was, you know, it was just a great atmosphere. And them as people, they are the nicest people you ever meet, bro. They're just beautiful people, you know? And so they're going to be doing a performance as well. A few other cats, but yeah, that'll be a good one. It's going to be a big event, that one.
Yeah,
hopefully we can get, you know, 400 or 500 people for that one.
Yes.
And then that's leading up to our trip in Japan. So that same week after Neighborhood Funk, we're heading to Japan to run Neighborhood Funk Japan with Brooklyn Terry. Shout out to Brooklyn Terry in Osaka.
Shout out to Brooklyn Terry.
And we're doing a Space Jam with Suji. Shout out to 7 Stars.
Shout out to Suji, 7 Stars.
So yeah, doing a couple of events there. And then I just had an idea as well a couple of days ago. I really want to throw a barbecue.
You must, bro.
I know. I want to throw a barbecue, maybe somewhere at a park in the city, and just invite everybody. Just come down. Keep it
more local, man. I miss. To be honest, bro. Like I know, and you know, but I miss like doing things at MONTANASA.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
and I've kind of done that on purpose. You know, like on purpose, I haven't done things there for a while.
Yeah.
Just because I know how special the place is.
Yes.
And when I do something there, I want it to be really special.
Yeah.
And have everybody come through and potentially have some pretty big artists on the lineup and just really make it. I want it to feel special, and I want it to be special when we do things there.
Yeah.
And obviously because our community is based all over Melbourne, we got dudes coming down from Berwick in southeast and the north side and the east side.
Yeah, you pull dudes from all over,
everywhere.
Man.
They come from everywhere.
It's good,
bro. And it's not even mean that pulls it. It's just the community. You know, the community it's so widely spread, and everybody's so cohesive with each other, and everybody's such homies, and they just come from everywhere. And the city is obviously the central location,
of course.
So that's why it just works easier to do events in the city, so that everybody can come. I mean, when we were running events out at the studio, dudes would have to leave at 11. To leave at southeast to get home by 1 a.m. So it's a mission.
It's a mission, yeah.
So when we're going to do something there, I want the mission to be worth it for people to come down.
Word.
But yeah, I'm thinking throwing a barbecue. Haven't come up with an exact date, but it's going to be close to Christmas/New Year's.
Good.
And the vibe is just going to be, you know, we'll have some jams and we'll have some food for sale. And drinks, and we'll just kick it at a park. There's no motives, no agendas. It's just let's all get together. Let's just have a good time, celebrate the year, and just hang out. It's probably going to be at Lincoln Square.
Lincoln Square. Where's Lincoln Square again?
It's on Lygon Street.
Lygon Street. I know the one.
Yeah.
Is that next to 7-Eleven?
Correct. That's the one.
And across the road from Mercure Hotel?
That's the one. Yeah. I did an event there a couple of years ago, actually.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Nice.
It was pretty scat. It was a very dodgy event. I should probably explain the story.
Grassroots, but...
It was an event called Can I Kick It? It was
yeah.
a freestyle battle. I think it was 3v3.
Can I kick it?
Yeah, and the whole idea behind that event was about the new gen, the young guns.
Yeah.
So I had Chino, Josh Kun, and Maggie at the time.
Oh, was that
judging.
filmed out there?
Yeah.
So I've seen that video. I always thought that was just out the front of MONTANASA.
Nah, so we had Armin Payne DJing that as well. But the story behind that was it was supposed to be at MONTANASA. But on the day of the event...
Yes.
We got told that Albion train station was going to be closed and there was no trains running at all.
Oh.
So we've kind of just like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Like, the event's not going to happen. People are not going to be able to get here. So we just quickly thought to ourselves, okay, how can we do this event still? It was too late to organise a venue. So we literally just organised the event at a park.
Word.
We rocked up to a park with a generator, with the sound system, and we just set up.
Yeah.
And then we had this park ranger come up to us. You know, what are you guys doing here? What's going on here? Like, we had a full-on sound system set up. We had the floor set up. I had a ute parked on the park so that we were setting up. And I just motivated him, the park ranger, to just let us be.
Yeah.
Just let us do our thing.
Yeah,
I convinced him that we were going to be chill. It's all good.
Of course.
You know, he's like, mate, you need a permit for this. Like, you're not allowed to be doing this. What's this sound system? What are you guys doing here?
Yeah.
And by the end of the conversation, he said to me, look, mate, I finish work at 5 p.m. If nothing's going on before then I don't really have a jurisdiction to kick you out. So he kind of winked at me and said, look, if you guys start this after 5, we'll be chill.
Whoa.
So luckily he was a really nice guy,
Yeah.
and we were able to run the jam there. Had no problems at all. We had lots of people come through to the events, and it was just it was a park jam that just happened on the fly, and it was dope.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Far out, bro. You could have got slapped with
But we went to the extent of trying to look professional. I had Richard wearing a high-vis vest.
Yeah, sick.
So that we'd look professional. It looked
Sick.
like we were supposed to be there. And I had a conversation with the park ranger for a good 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just explaining to him what we're doing. I said to him, look, we're
good.
a community base. We want dancers that come in to do a dance battle. Like, it's not like, you know, it's not a
massive
gang,
business.
or it's not whatever it is. I said, we're not even charging entry. Like, it's nothing like that. It's just a community little event. And he really liked what I had to say. Like, he
Good.
almost to the point where he would have come and wanted to see it and be a part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Park Ranger,
Yeah,
whoever
Park
you are.
Ranger,
I don't know
whoever
who you
you
are,
are.
but you're a dude, bro.
Bless your soul, bro.
Facts.
Yo, that is sick.
Yeah,
man.
so I want to do it at the same spot.
Yeah.
Pretty much same vibe. We'll get there after 5 o'clock. Set up a few speakers and just chill.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Bro, doesn't that Lincoln Square have like a stage? That's on the other side, bro. That's the Melbourne Uni side near the KFC. There's another park similar.
There's a stage there.
Yeah, it's like a
Nice.
little stage.
I've
And
been wanting to do an event at like an outdoor park stage kind of vibe.
yeah, because the reason why I'm asking is like, I learned this from my OGs,
Yep.
right? I was year 10 and I was studying at the State Library, and then I just decided to go out for fresh air, you know? Call it a ciggy break, but I wasn't smoking ciggies back then.
Yeah.
And then I seen this dude, like, shout outs to Bilal, he had a ghetto blaster on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Right, this is 99 or 2000. Yeah, he had a ghetto blaster on his shoulder. This dude had camo cargo shorts, and he had shell toe Adidas with fat laces.
Yeah.
And he was also carrying the ghetto blaster wasn't on his shoulder; it was in his hand.
Yeah.
But on his shoulder, he had a liner.
Yeah, nice.
And I'd only been breaking for like 5 months. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew this dude was a b-boy.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of observed and watched him. And then he went to that side of the State Library.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the steps to the right, there's like a bench there you can sit at. And this dude pulls out an Allen key.
Yeah.
And he opens up this
dude.
little panel on the side of the light pole.
To get power.
And he's plugged in the ghetto blaster and then rolled out the liner. And then slowly these dudes started rocking up.
Fresh.
So I went up to him and I said, "Oh, you guys breakers, you know." I didn't know back then.
Yeah.
They didn't want to be called breakers, you know. They wanted to be called b-boys, you know. And then he's like, "Yeah, we're b-boys, man. We break here, you know, like every Tuesday or whatever night it was."
Yeah.
And for however many Tuesdays in that year, I was going there to learn how to break, bro.
Nice.
Just jam with dudes,
Nice.
you know. And it was really cool, you know. Like, that's a thing, man. It's a thing to like go and dance outdoors and do things. You know?
Well, it's funny because it wasn't supposed to be that day. But it just happened that the train station was closed, so we had to figure out another way, you know, and like, it just worked, and it was actually a really nice event, like really, really nice.
Yeah,
so,
dope.
I want to replicate that and do something again, but this time bring, you know, the bigger community to it, and make it more about it being a barbecue rather than an event.
Yeah,
you know?
word. And
just,
it's good that it's in summer too, because that's what happens in New York, bro.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You know, the block parties. You know, bring that fiesta vibe. You know, the barrio fiesta vibe.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
people just dancing together and chilling and eating in the communities. You know, but I need to mention that your event. It's Space Jam and Neighborhood Funk
Correct.
in North Melbourne.
Correct.
Is from 1 p.m. to what time?
1 a.m.
12-hour event, guys.
Easy.
That's like a fiesta itself,
Yeah,
bro.
man. It's a block party, the way that I see it. It's
Word.
that's what it is. And obviously there's so many different elements involved in the day.
Yeah.
There's not enough time, you know, so we need to have that time. So
Yeah.
for this one, I want the Space Jam's going to run from 1 to 4 p.m.
Yes.
The freestyle battles, what is it, 1 to 4, 1 to 3, and then 4 to 6 is the freestyle battle, and then from 6 to 1 will be live acts, DJs, all night, party all night.
Yes.
That's
sick.
the idea behind it. But
Sick. It's a celebration, bitches.
it is. It is. Yeah, it's going to be nice. $20 tickets can buy them at the door as well.
Sick.
Yeah, the third day is a beautiful venue too.
Yeah,
it brings a really nice atmosphere.
Word.
So that's I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that'll be good,
that's gonna
man.
be good.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, where to take this before we wrap things up, man? I think it's really important to comment on what you've told us. The importance of community in this sense, even though it seems like in various sectors in the professional realm, the word community has become a bit of a dirty word. People are using the word community in the wrong ways.
Yes,
hey,
and trying to monopolize on it, or
Yeah.
monetize on the idea.
yeah, you know, like fuck. Of course, there's always a vested interest
Yes,
somewhere, you
yes.
know, and there's not necessarily a hidden agenda, but there's no such thing as something for nothing, right? You know, you get whatever benefits you get out of doing your events,
Yeah.
you know, and people get whatever benefits they want to get from going to certain events, and etc. But what I have to comment on is like how sort of like local and how focused your work has been, bro.
Thank
You know, like we talked about the Polynesian community, but it's one of many communities. You know, we've talked about certain aspects of the youth, the diaspora of youth that come, like you mentioned Braybrook. You know, like I mess with I dance with a lot of Braybrook kids from Braybrook Secondary. You know, teach them here and there, and then you also work with a lot of, you know, pretty underground musicians and artists. You know, shout outs to Nush, shout outs to
Doc
3K, you know, Doc G, look
Doc
him up,
G.
Doc G. I'm digging the retro styles that they're bringing back. It's nice. It's really nice. I resonate with that, you know, and the fact that he lives like he lives one
Down
block
the
from
road. Richard?
No. He lives Nush lives
yeah.
one block from my cousin.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
my cousin's probably the same age as him,
Yeah.
you know. So it trips me out that he's always been there,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But because we haven't really talked about MONTANASA, you know, like that's essentially how I see MONTANASA.
Yeah, good.
MONTANASA, you know, is when I think MONTANASA, which when your dad explained it to me back in the day, like 15 years ago, you know, it's like it's a made up word, isn't it?
it
Yeah,
is.
it's like the monte, like the peak.
Montaña is
Montaña.
mountain in Spanish.
Mountain,
And then
yeah.
NASA obviously replicating the space
The
company.
space company, yeah.
The word means out of this world creativity.
Out of this world creativity, bro. Out of this world creativity.
My dad made up that word.
Yeah, man. Yeah, when he told me, it's actually a made up word,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I fucks with that, man. You know. And what's crazy about that, bro, is that, you know, like, for me, being a dude that's, you know, been sort of in the arts for my majority of my life, let's say 20 years consciously, 20 years plus, it's kind of like you go to the city a lot. I've spent a lot of time in the city. I went to school in South Yarra. It's kind of like, man, local is where I come from, but how come I can't enjoy the same things as I can in the city? You know, and that's why I enjoyed and still enjoy, you know, even though I haven't been, obviously, like the events at MONTANASA, you know, because it was just like, bro, it's like 5 minutes, you know,
It's down the road,
5 minute drive down the road, or if I was to catch a train, even less, you know. So yeah, did you want to sort of just like elaborate on any of those things and what maybe?
Well, the importance of what we've always done, and how I like to envision it is my passion for creativity. So for me, like, I have talents myself. I play drums and I do a lot of different things, but it's never been about me. It's always been about creating, as I hate to say it because everybody says it, is creating a platform
Yes.
for people in our community of Melbourne to be able to showcase themselves.
Word.
And to be able to give people an opportunity to be able to express themselves through their creative gifts
Yes.
to an audience.
Word.
Because the problem is that, well, it's not a problem, but it is. Melbourne is the greatest city in the world. And we have the greatest art culture, I think. I've done a lot of travel and I've been to a lot of places and I miss home always. And for me, Melbourne is where it's at. And what my goal is, and the reason why we go to Japan and why we're going to Korea and why eventually we will go to different countries is to bring home to them so that they can get a feel of what it's like for us back home.
Word.
So that they, one day when they come here,
Yes.
they can see what we come from.
Yeah, word.
So my idea behind everything that I do is to put Melbourne on the map.
Dope.
That's always been what I've been about, is Melbourne. And whoever it is at the time, if it's 3K, if it's Billy Davis, if it's Doc G, if it's, whoever it is that's around us, Young Masters, like whoever it is that's doing their thing, they deserve to be noticed.
Yes.
They deserve to be reached.
Yes.
And to be able to showcase what they're so passionate about and are so good at to a broader audience. See, my biggest, what I hate about Australian media is the Australian media. I turn on the radio and, it's on Nova and I hear Guy Sebastian, and then I turn on to Fox and it's Guy Sebastian, and then I put on, Triple One, 101, and it's Delta Goodrum. It's like, these are the same dudes that have been around for 10, 15 years, but the Australian media hold on so tight to what their artist is and who they want to showcase. But there's so much more, so much better. No diss to these dudes because they're doing their thing and they're doing it's cool what they've been doing, but it's there's so much more. If we just shine the light a little bit more to the underground community and to the culture that we have and put them on the stage, Melbourne would be known all over the world and people would be coming all, from left, right and centre to what we have.
Exactly.
But at the same time, that's what makes us so different and so raw, is because it's that undergroundness that will never, well, I say never because it seems like Australian media will never take hold of this underground movement. That we have to do it ourselves.
Exactly.
We have to put ourselves on the map. Exactly. We have to do it ourselves to get some sort of recognition.
That's it, man.
And it's cool to see people like Remy, Sampa the Great, Silent J, all these dudes that are just doing really cool things. Kate, in Melbourne, that are starting to blow up overseas and people are getting recognized. Horatio Luna, that's what people need to see Melbourne as.
Word.
And so and I guess the initial goal is to take over the Australian media and to shine the light away from your Guy Sebastians and your Delta Goodrums and your Shannon Knowles, who are still somehow in the limelight 10, 15 years later, to the Silent J's, to the 3Ks, to the Horatio Lunas, to all these dudes that are, don't get me wrong, they have their own spectrums and their own audiences, and they're doing their thing and they're kicking goals and doing amazing things, but towards an Australian media, I feel like that our next door neighbours right here, if I was to say, do you know who 3K is? They got no clue. But they should, because 3K is down the road.
Down the road, exactly.
They're listening to freaking Kendrick Lamar and all these other people who are dope, but why aren't you listening to 3K?
Exactly.
Support your local, and that's what we've always been about, is showcasing the local to get them to the point where the local is the national is the local and international as well. So that's the whole idea of what we are, what we do, and what I want it to be. And there's lots of struggles that have come along with that, because we've been doing this now for MONTANASA for 6 years, but we're only so far, but to really take over and to give you know, the artists in Melbourne that deserve that limelight. We just got to keep doing what we're doing.
That's exactly it, bro. And I hope you keep doing
Yeah.
what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
Because, hey, bro, you know, like that gives hope. You know, that gives hope. You know, like I think a lot of people lose hope. You know what I mean? And when you hear things like this, and why I'm doing this in this platform, you know, why we're doing this, is because like it needs to be known.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
props are due. You know, like people need to get their props.
Yeah.
No wonder people give up.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not getting props.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
in
it's
real
hard.
life,
I've given up too, bro.
right? We all have.
But we just got to keep going.
We got to keep
you know,
going.
Just got to
man.
get back up and just keep going.
That's it, man.
Because if we don't, then who will?
Exactly.
And
there's that's a bit of an issue too, isn't it? You know, a lot of people aren't taking ownership, aren't taking control. I guess it's just part of the generation too. It's like, oh, that's a bit extra. You know, it's like, oh, look, this guy, who do you think you are? You know, it's like, it's weird because that's what media is creating. You know, that disparity between people. Whereas, see, maybe because of where, you know, how you've grown up to and what you've seen, you realize I can make a change. And a lot of people realize they can't. They think they can't make a change. You know, it's crazy, but that's just how it is. You know.
Yeah. So we just got to keep doing it. Keep like what I don't want to be worrying about is Instagram and Facebook and what does my social media following look like and how many followers does MONTANASA have, and like, who cares, you know?
Who gives a fuck, man?
Exactly, who cares, man? Like, it's not about that. It's not about trying to become the biggest brand in the world and slapping it everywhere so that everybody knows what it is. It's about the essence of the community behind it. And it's about the culture behind it. And the culture and the community should be the name.
Yes.
Not that the brands are the name that's representing it. And that's why, like, I've never really pushed in terms of marketing that it's about MONTANASA. It's not about MONTANASA.
Word.
It's just a name. It's just so that people can, like, understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
It's always and will be about the individual artists and the individual people that make the event.
Word.
MONTANASA is nothing without the community.
That's exactly right.
You know?
It's just a platform.
Exactly.
But it's the people on the platform.
Correct.
And the people that go to see that.
Yep.
That are what makes it.
Yeah, and I hope in the future that eventually the platform will become a place where the Australian media can look to.
Word them up.
You know, so that's the initial goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruh, we're leaving it on a creative peak. Bro, the sky's the limit, man, when you hear things like this, you know? And, bro, I want to thank you for being on our show, bro. Sorry about the tightness here and my makeshift, like, mic stand. I don't even have a popper.
Thank you to you too, bro.
Bro,
you know,
thank
like,
you.
you've made a way for a lot of people, you know? And what you've been doing, like, back in the day in MMA, it's like what you were a part of, what you were doing is what inspired me as a 15-year-old, you know, and like what you were a part of with the community and what I was able to see, what it was is what inspired me to be like, yo, I want more people to know about this.
Yeah,
you know?
Word, bro. Nah, word, man. You carrying the torch.
That's it.
You know, and it's still lit, you know. You're keeping things litty, you know. Shout outs to your dad again,
Hey,
you know,
Pops.
because he basically allowed that for us, you know, and yeah. You know, that's what legacies are. You know, we continue them. That's tradition, that's culture.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm very excited to see what more you're going to bring, man.
Yeah.
Thank you again, G.
Well,
bro.
good, bro.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yo, we signing out.
Hey.
Be sure to like, subscribe, whatever, you know. Be sure to check out a lot of the people we've mentioned, the places, the events, the functions. And, yeah, you know, if you'd like to see anyone else on this, tell us. Don't be afraid to reach out. Peace.
Peace.
Yo.
Nice.
Tight, bro.
That was cool.
That was tight, man. Hopefully no one rang. No, sweet. 1 hour 8. That's a nice. That's a nice length. It's a good size.
Good size. Not
Good
bad.
size, not bad.
Not bad.
And we got the audio too.